série bíblica fenômeno de audiência nos Estados Unidos, The Chosen, Os Escolhidos, também virou febre no Brasil. Tanto que o diretor e criador do programa, o Dallas Jenkins, passou por São Paulo e Rio de Janeiro para divulgar a terceira temporada da série. Meu nome é Raquel Carneiro e neste programa eu conversei com o Dallas para saber mais dos bastidores da série e da próxima temporada. Part of the appeal of the show is exactly this. I don't know if the word is liberty to imagine the stories around the story we know from the Bible. Were you afraid of some backlash from part of the viewers about this imagination?
Yeah. So I knew that there would be backlash from some viewers because we are showing many things in our show that aren't from Scripture, that we don't know for sure if they happened. I did know that would happen, but I wasn't afraid of it. I've gotten to a place in my life and in my career where I don't care what anyone else thinks, other than my wife and God. And so when you have that freedom, and you believe that what you are doing is right, and I believed that the stories we are telling in the show, even the ones that aren't from Scripture, were plausible, were possible. We don't know if they were fact, but when you study the cultural context and you study the historical context and you understand human behavior, you can faithfully imagine what it would have been like to follow Jesus and to live in that time. And so we don't violate the character and intentions of Jesus in the Gospels. We don't contradict the stories of the Gospels, but we do feel the freedom to explore what it would be like any other historical drama. I don't believe that the people of first century Galilee are the only people who can't have a movie or TV show made about them where you show in between the facts just because it's in the Bible. So we say right up front, before episode 1, The Chosen is not the Bible. If you want the pure truth, you can read the Bible, but we are a TV show exploring these stories. And once we made that decision to do it, if I care about what people think, then I'll be fearful as I write. And I don't want to be writing fearful of people not liking it or trying to get more praise. I just want to make sure I'm making the best show that I can.
Great. Can you, do you have like some advisors on the script process? Can you tell me a little bit more?
Yes, so we have a panel of 3 Bible experts, religious experts, a Messianic Jewish rabbi, a Catholic priest, and an evangelical scholar. Now, I'm an evangelical, I'm not a Catholic, but we wanted to make sure that we weren't unnecessarily, what we say in the States, like stepping on landmines. I don't know if that's a phrase in Brazil, but it's like, we don't, I don't mind upsetting some people, but I don't want to do it unnecessarily. So we wanted to know what would Catholics think of the scripts and of the stories. And we also then wanted to have discussions about that. So after each of our episodes, we have Bible roundtable discussions where we talk about these stories, and we even debate sometimes, but we really explore the deeper meanings. But yes, they read all of our scripts, and they help ensure that we are not doing anything that would be totally implausible, totally impossible. So every now and then we'll do something, and our Jewish rabbi will say, the Jewish people would never do that, or that's historically inaccurate. And most of the time we correct it. Sometimes we say, it's okay if this holiday didn't happen at this time, or Jesus did this miracle in this city instead of this city. For the sake of our story, we're okay with that, but we want to make sure we don't unknowingly violate scripture or history.
I have this feeling that The Chosen have a more human Jesus, you know? Yes. Was that the intention? How you get into this idea?
Yeah. So most Jesus movies and miniseries show the Bible verses, the miracles and the preaching. We know those happened, and we know Jesus did those things, and I believe Jesus was God. But I also believe that for many pieces of art, whether it's a movie or a stained glass window or a painting or a statue, even this amazing statue here in Brazil, which I can't wait to see this weekend. But sometimes it can make Jesus feel like a statue or a stained glass window or a painting, and he feels distant and formal. The people who knew Jesus knew him as a human being. They also believed he was God, but they knew him as a human being who laughed and who cried and who danced with his friends at weddings. We believe that showing the humanity of Jesus does not distract or take away from his divinity. We believe it actually makes it even more powerful. That if you believe that Jesus is God, and Jesus is the creator of the universe, the fact that he came to earth and lived among us and brushed his teeth and dressed his wound and laughed at jokes, it makes it even more impactful. And I don't think I'm inventing anything. I don't think I'm saying, we're going to make Jesus human just so you can relate to him. No, Jesus was human. And he, as the book of Philippians says, did not count equality with God as something to be grasped, but gave, sacrificed himself, what he knew from up in heaven. And so we believe that showing him doing those human things, and as well as the miracles, can be very powerful. So it's dangerous at times. You want to make sure that you don't show Jesus sinning or violate his character, but it also can be very impactful.
By the way, the show was released during the pandemic, and it was also a very political, complex situation in Brazil and US. So do you have at the time some kind of concern to not make this show like a political view, to address to every kind of vision? How was that?
Well, the show itself is very non-political because when Jesus was on earth in the first century, there were a lot of the same divisions and problems, socio-political divisions, religious divisions, oppression, racial tension, gender tension between men and women were oftentimes during that time were not treated equally. And so they expected Jesus to come and fight all of that and to lead a war and to be political. And Jesus said, I don't care about any of that. I'm here for your heart. So I don't believe The Chosen is at all political. In fact, I believe it's the answer to some of these political divides, not The Chosen itself, but the story of Jesus and the Gospels. And so I was actually excited about the fact that during this time of COVID and tension and political division, I felt like the story was even more relatable and relevant because that's the time that Jesus was in. And it was a very divisive time, and we live in a very divisive culture now. And so I feel like that might have helped The Chosen feel even more relatable and cause people to react even more strongly because they're like, maybe this is the answer, maybe we can unify behind the idea of unconditional love and sacrifice and service.
One last question. What can we expect from season 4?
Well, first, I want people to see season 3, and it's coming out in theaters. The first 2 episodes are coming out in theaters. But if you've seen season 3, the theme of season 3 has been, come to me, you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. It's something that Jesus says in the season finale of season 3. We see a lot of the disciples weary and heavy laden, but we also see Jesus give rest. Well, in season 4, Jesus is weary and heavy laden. You see Jesus get increasingly sad as he approaches season 5, which is Holy Week, which is when Jesus goes to Jerusalem and he gets arrested and he gets opposed and he loses so many followers. And he's sad because his friends and his followers don't quite understand his mission. He's sad because the religious leaders don't know that they have a Messiah. He's sad because the city of Jerusalem is so broken and so distant from realizing the truth. And so we see a lot of joy and a lot of famous Bible stories in season 4. But we also see Jesus be maybe even more human than normal because we see him sad and we see him not getting comfort from those around him.
Lembrando que The Chosen pode ser visto em plataformas como Netflix e Globoplay e também pelo aplicativo gratuito da própria série. E este foi o programa Em Cartaz. A gente se vê com mais notícias e dicas do cinema e do streaming na semana que vem.